Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good day sir. I am Raihan D. Alimatar. So now we are going to discuss the economic case study analysis by using the law of demand and supply. So we select the sawmill industry. So now we proceed to the introduction, which is the small-scale sawmill industry play a major role in supplying wood product like lumber. So small sawmill are important in the Philippines. It's because they help provide the country with a steady supply of wood. So these businesses takes logs and turn them into lumber, which is then used in many industry. So without them, it will be harder and more expensive to get local wood. And next is the lumber is widely used in housing, furniture making, and construction. So lumber is a basic building material. It is used to make walls, floor, furnitures, and even in the roads and bridges. So it's because so many industry rely on wood, so the demand for lumber is always high, especially in growing cities. So where houses and buildings are being constructed. So next one is the cases focuses on how economic forces like supply, demand, price equilibrium, and elasticity affect the wood industry. So we are using this case study, how economic ideas work in real life. For example, how much lumber is available or supplied. So how much people want to buy, demand. So the best price where both meet equilibrium, and how changes in price affect buying and selling behavior, elasticity. So this idea help explain why wood prices and changes and how sawmill react. So next one is the sawmills are businesses that process raw logs into sawn wood or lumber. So a sawmill takes logs from forest and cuts them into straight boards, so called sawn wood or lumber. So these boards are easier to use for building and furniture. So sawmill turn raw materials into usable product, making them in an important link in the forestry industry. So next one is these operations are commonly located in rural forested province such as Bukidnon, Lanao del Sur, Misamis Oriental. So most small sawmill are found in the rural areas where forests are nearby. So places like Bukidnon and Lanao del Sur have forest resources. So sawmill businesses operate their business area are far from cities but are rich in timber, so which make them ideal for wood processing. So the next one is the many communities in this area are depend on timber for their livelihood and income. So people who live near forest often work in logging. So hauling or operating sawmill, they earn money by cutting, processing, and selling wood. If sawmill close or the timber supply is reduced, so these families lose income. So that's why timber is not just a product, it's a livelihood. We proceed to when and where it happening. So this case is current with data mostly from 2023 to 2024. Based on recent publication from Statista 2023, CEIC data 2024, and Rosetko et al. 2033. So the information in this case study is up to date. The data used come from the year 2023 to 2024, making the analysis relevant to what's happening right now in the Philippines. So we use recent and reliable sources to better understand that the current situation of the wood and sawmill industry. So in 2023, the Philippines imported $230.55 million worth of the lumber, so showing a strong internal demand for wood even as a forest resources to become unlimited. So this large import values means that the Philippines needs a lot of wood but can't produce enough locally. Even though we have forest, we are importing more lumber from other countries. So this tells us that local supply is not meeting the country demand, which affecting the pricing and availability. So next is many small-scale sawmill operate in northern Mindanao and southern Philippines, so where forests are accessible but increasingly regulated. So sawmill are often found in forest-rich area like Bukidnon, Lanao del Sur, and Misamis Oriental, so which are located in the northern Mindanao and southern Philippines. So this region have natural resources, but The government now has more rules in place, like requiring permits and limiting logging to protect the environment. And next is this area also face issues like deforestation, land conversion, and strict logging permits, so which have affected by supply chains. So even though there are forests have already been cut down or the land has been turned into farms or roads, so the government has made logging rules restricting to protect what's left. It's because of this, sawmill find it harder to get logs, which slow down their work and disrupt the flow of wood from the forest to market. So in the next slide, which is the real world relevance. So this issue is not just a theoretical, so it affects construction companies, sawmill owners, and government agencies. So by analyzing this case through economic tools, so we understand how prices are set, why shortage or surpluses happen, so or what decision product and consumer makes.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm now Fisti Marik and I'll be discussing the supply and demand schedule of wood. So, this table lists how much wood people want to buy and how much sawmills are willing to sell at different prices. For example, at 5,000, people want to buy 10,000 cubic meter, but sawmills only want to supply 6,000 cubic meter. So, why? Because at low prices, buyers want more wood since it's cheap, but sawmills won't sell much because profits are too low. So in 9,000 naman, demand falls to 4,500 per cubic meter, but supply rises at 12,000 cubic meter. So because high prices discourage buyers, but for suppliers, it's a great opportunity to make more money, so they produce more. So this trend helps us build the demand and supply curves. So let's proceed to the graph of demand curve. So this graph shows the law of demand. When the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. So at low prices, like in 5,000, wood is more affordable. So more people want to buy it. So at higher prices naman, which is 9,000, it's too expensive. So buyers cut back or delay purchases. So this downward sloping line shows a normal buyer reaction. People want more of a good when it's cheaper and less when it's expensive. So according kay Zhang and Pierce noong 2011, demand for wood products is price sensitive, especially in developing countries. So, proceeding naman sa graph of the supply curve, this shows the law of supply. So, sa law of supply, when the price increases, the quantity supplied also increases. So, for example, is here in the graph at 5,000, sawmills only produce 6,000 cubic meter because profit margins are low. So, sa 9,000 naman, supply jumps to 12,000 cubic meters. Now, selling wood is profitable, so more mills produce more. So, this upward sloping lines shows that sellers are motivated by price. Higher price is equal to more production. So, sa explanation nga ni Roshitko et al. In 2013, explained that small producers in the Philippines respond quickly when prices go up by increasing harvest and cutting operations. So now, let's proceed sa supply and demand together, sa graph ng supply and demand together. So, in this graph, sa graph na to, it combines both curves. The point where they meet is called the equilibrium. So, sa price is the 6,500 and sa quantity naman is 8,200 cubic meter. So, buyers are willing to buy exactly as much wood as sawmills want to sell. There is no shortage, meaning not enough wood, and no surplus, meaning too much wood. So, kung ang price is below this point, demand will be higher than supply, is equal to the shortage. If it's above naman, supply will be higher than demand, is equal to the surplus. So, this helps wood sellers avoid overproduction or losses.
Hi, I am Abdul Rahman Barang, and for my part, which is the shift in demand curve, this slide shows what happened when the demand curve shifts to the right. This means people want to buy more wood at all price levels. So, you're asking why would demand increase? It's because more people are building homes, the government infrastructure projects, import restriction on foreign wood, and also the policies promoting local lumber use. An example of this is your 7,000 pesos, the price 7,000 pesos, and the demand was 7,500 meters squared, and the after is the price 7,000 will still increase the demand by 8,500 meters squared. So this rightward shift leads to a new higher equilibrium price and quantity. According to Statista on 2023 shows that demand for lumber in the Philippines continues to rise due to ongoing construction projects. So next is the shift in supply curve. This shows a shift in the supply curve, either left decreases or right increases. Leftward shift happens because of drought, logging bans, high fuel or labor costs, fewer trees due to land conversion. And the rightward shift happens when government reforestation, better tools and machines, road and transport improvements. An example of this is before at 7,000 pesos, the supply is 7,500 meters squared. And thereafter, the problem happened, supply drops to 6,000 meters squared. And yun nga po, nabawasan to ng 1,500 meters squared. So, according to Lasco and Pulhin in 2009, say that logging policies and poor access to forest reduce wood supply.
So my name is Burhanuddin Agakan, and moving on to slide 8, the price elasticity of demand. In this slide, this measures how much buyer behavior changes when the price changes. So in our data, price increases by 10% and demand drops by only 5%. So the elasticity shows that the price elasticity of demand in this data is negative 0.5. This is inelastic because the number is less than 1%. So we're just ignoring the negative sign. So it becomes 0.5. This means the buyers still need wood even if it's expensive. Why? Because wood is essential for construction. People can't easily switch to alternatives. Unlike other products, that there are some products that may be alternative for that certain product.
So let's move on to price elasticity of supply. This measures how producers change their supply when price changes. So in our data, price increases by 10% and supply increases by 15%. So the summary of that, elasticity is 1.5. So I can say that this is elastic, meaning sawmill owners can increase production easily when price rise because they want to earn more profit and they might already have logs stored or labor ready. So according to Zhang and Pierce on 2011, note that the supply response depends on available resources and technology. So finally, this is the original and new equilibrium. This data shows how market conditions change when demand increases. So the original equilibrium was the price is 7,000 and the quantity is 7,500 cubic meter. And the new equilibrium after demand shift is the price is 8,000 pesos and
the quantity is 8,500 cubic meter. So why does the price rise? Because maybe it is because people want to buy wood, but supply hasn't caught up yet. So the result is price and output both rises up. This is the real scenario in developing countries where infrastructures boom rises and wood demand.
Hi, good day sir. My name is Naim J. Munib. In summary, demand for sawwood in the Philippines is rising, driven by urbanization and local production shortfalls. It means ito po ay if sawwood demand is growing due to housing infrastructure and rising population. Demand is relatively inelastic. Consumers still need one even at higher prices. Ito naman po is if lumaki yung prices, is still in demand po yung kahoy kasi kailangan po ng mga tao. Supply is elastic, especially when there is government or private sector support. Sawmill produce more, and when price go up, elastic supply. The original equilibrium was at 7,000 and 7,500 per cubic meter. Shift and supply result in new market conditions. Understanding this shift helps sawmill owners and buyers plan and make better decisions. So ito po ang aming mga reference, itong anim kung saan kami nag-base sa this study. That's all and thank you.